The most dangerous cartel operative isn't the one who crosses the border. It's the one who decides who gets to cross it. The one who stamps the papers and waves the cars through. Phoenix, Arizona, 4:47 a.m. The desert air still carried a bite when three black SUVs slipped off Interstate 10 and rolled into the gated calm of Desert Ridge. No sirens. No lights. Just the low, controlled hum of engines moving through a neighborhood that believed it was asleep. Behind the tinted glass were sealed indictments, federal warrants, and men who had waited months for this exact minute. For 3 seconds, nothing moved but wind and tires. The target wasn't a cartel safe house. It wasn't a warehouse on the edge of town. It was a 2-story home at the end of a cul-de-sac. The residence of Judge Ethan Calder. At 4:52 a.m., the FBI hit the front door with enough force to make the entire facade jump. The oak didn't creak, it detonated, exploding inward in a spray of splinters and shattered porch light. Flashlights cut through the darkness like scalpels, carving outlines of a life that looked beyond reproach. A mahogany console table. A hand-knotted rug. Family photos from beach vacations and graduation ceremonies. On the wall, a Georgetown law degree. Beside it, a framed oath to uphold the Constitution of the United States. What they were stepping into wasn't just a house. It was an empire. The entry hall was pristine, exactly what you'd expect from a respected judge. Mahogany furniture. Framed credentials. A family portrait above the fireplace, smiles frozen in perfect symmetry. The basement told the truth. Concrete steps descended into peeling paint and stale air. Agents moved single file, boots echoing, breath slowing to match the rhythm of the descent. At the bottom waited a steel-reinforced door fitted with a biometric lock and a humming ventilation system that had no place in a family home. When the grinder bit into the metal, the sound was teeth on bone. Sparks filled the stairwell, a welding torch burning inside a coffin. When the seal finally gave, the air hit first. Chemical. Sharp. Synthetic. Not dust or old storage, but something engineered. Manufactured. Deadly. Inside, industrial shelving lined the walls. Vacuum-sealed bricks stacked with warehouse precision. 35 kilograms of fentanyl, enough to kill 17 million people. 10 kilograms of heroin, pressed into bricks stamped with a CJNG cartel insignia, a scorpion coiled around a dagger, raised in defiance. Every brick was a sentence. Every label, a death notice waiting for a name, a street, a grieving family. This wasn't a judge's home. It was a distribution node, built beneath the feet of the very men sworn to keep poison out of his city. In the walk-in closet, behind tailored suits and silk ties, agents found a false wood panel. Behind it, a Mosseler safe. Inside, between $5.60 and $6 million in cash, bundled in tight $50,000 stacks. 3 encrypted phones, 1 still warm. And a leather-bound ledger, the kind judges use for notes, not crimes. Court case numbers. Dates. Dollar amounts. All written in red ink that bled faintly into the paper. One agent photographed a page and read aloud. KC CR 2023-08471. Delayed 90 days, $320,000. KCR 2024-00187. Warrant blocked, $410,000. Each line wasn't just corruption. Each line was a shipment that made it through. No screams. No warnings. Just the cold weight of what had already been found. At 5:14 a.m., Judge Ethan Calder was arrested in his own bedroom, still dressed in silk pajamas. His wife stood frozen in the doorway, hands trembling. His 2 daughters, ages 9 and 12, never came downstairs. The man who had sentenced hundreds was now facing a sentence of his own. But this wasn't the end of the story. It was the fracture that exposed the foundation beneath it. Operation Desert Gate wasn't a single raid. It was 8 states, 14 simultaneous entries, 27 officials in handcuffs, $162 million seized. At 6:30 a.m., a single encrypted message left FBI headquarters in Washington, D.C. 1 line. 4 words. Rehearsed for months. Gate is open. Execute all warrants. The message was pulled from a confiscated phone taken from Judge Calder's safe. As the signal relayed through hardened channels, screens lit up in Phoenix, Albuquerque, El Paso, Las Vegas. Devices on silent vibrated against tactical vests and command tables. No speeches. No countdowns. 14 timers started at once. What followed didn't look like one operation. It looked like a system waking up. Phoenix, 6:07 a.m. FBI agents moved onto the 12th floor of a downtown glass tower. 3 black SUVs emptied into the lobby and rode the elevators straight to the office of Assistant District Attorney Rachel Vogue. 89% conviction rate. Panel appearances. Keynotes. Legal journal profiles. A rising star whose closing arguments were quoted in law schools across the state. She was supposed to be standing beside agents at press conferences. Instead, she was seated at her desk when the door came off its hinges. When agents opened her desk drawer, the narrative collapsed. $180,000 in cash. Rubber-banded stacks of hundreds, counted and ready. A burner phone, still warm. The messages were clinical. I-10 clear 0200 to 0400 Thursday. Shipment confirmed. Tucson to Phoenix. $40,000 transferred. Route protected. As cuffs closed around her wrists, her framed Georgetown law degree watched from the wall, silent and unblinking. The woman who built her reputation on closing routes for poison was the one quietly clearing the lanes the cartel paid for. El Paso, 6:09 a.m. ICE agents moved on a quiet stucco house at the edge of the city. Night vision green gave way to the hard white of tactical flashlights. Inside lived Miguel Santos, Border Patrol Supervisor. 16-year veteran. Commendations for intercepting cartel couriers at the Nogales checkpoint. His face appeared on recruitment posters, proof that the line could be held. His garage told the truth. Behind neatly stacked oil drums, an agent's boot struck metal. Hollow. When the drums were pulled aside, plastic-wrapped bricks spilled onto the concrete. 47 kilograms of methamphetamine, stamped with the same scorpion logo found beneath Calder's home. On a workbench, beside a framed photo of Santos in uniform, sat a leather logbook. Dates. License plates. Checkpoint references. Shipments recorded like inventory. Beside multiple entries, the same word appeared in looping ink. Clear. The man stopping drugs at the border was the one waving them through. Albuquerque, 6:11 a.m. DEA agents boxed in a tan house at the end of a quiet cul-de-sac. Inside lived Liam Cross, Sheriff's Deputy, Narcotics Unit. 12 years on the force. Author of the county's drug evidence protocols. The man other deputies called when they didn't know how to protect a case. On paper, he was the firewall. His basement held something that should not have existed. A full police evidence locker, installed inside a private home. Inside were cocaine, heroin, fentanyl. All catalogued. All sealed in official evidence bags with case numbers and signatures intact. Every label traced back to seizures reported missing from county storage. This wasn't a dirty cop skimming off the top. This was inventory. Preserved. Organized. Ready for resale. The man tasked with protecting evidence was running a redistribution operation. And across the Southwest, the pattern repeated. California. Texas. New Mexico. Nevada. Colorado. Utah. Oklahoma. Arizona. Different agencies. Different titles. Same system. Badges came off. Doors came down. Evidence bags filled fast. 14 targets in 14 minutes. By sunrise, the numbers were staggering. 27 officials arrested. 2.3 tons of synthetic drugs seized. $162 million in assets frozen. 419 vehicles impounded. 83 properties raided. 17 port officials taken into custody. But the real count hadn't started yet. 18 months earlier, the arrests that stunned the Southwest began with a sound most people never notice, a soft click on a wiretap line inside a windowless lab at Quantico. September 2022. A DEA intercept flagged a late-night call between a CJNG lieutenant in Mexico and an unknown contact in Phoenix. The cartel side spoke in slang and code. The Phoenix voice didn't. He spoke in legalese. He referenced Rule 16 discovery deadlines. Speedy trial clocks. Procedural choke points. He didn't offer drugs. He didn't offer weapons. He offered time. Delay this arraignment. Stall that warrant. Bury the motion on page 6. On a glowing waveform, an analyst isolated the voice, ran it through federal databases, and watched a name appear on the screen. Judge Ethan Calder. No one in that room said "case closed." Instead, they wrote 2 words on the board beneath his photo. Entry point. For the first time, they didn't see a corrupt official. They saw a network. The FBI's Financial Crimes Unit pulled every transaction tied to Calder's name, every account linked to his social security number, every LLC he'd touched, every card swiped in his household. 8 months of surveillance revealed the pattern. Offshore transfers from shell companies in Panama, the Caymans, and the British Virgin Islands. Properties purchased through LLCs that hadn't existed 2 years earlier. Consulting fees wired to family members for work no one could document. Tuition payments and education grants funneled through a foundation no one had heard of 3 years earlier. And Calder wasn't the only one getting paid. When investigators overlaid his network onto federal payroll data, 26 additional names lit up the screen. Assistant prosecutors, sheriff's deputies, port officials, border supervisors, people whose jobs boiled down to one word: yes or no. All suddenly wealthy in ways their salaries couldn't explain. All investing in real estate portfolios, cryptocurrency wallets, and education trusts for their children, managed by the same quiet foundation. The cartel hadn't bought a judge, or a cop, or a clerk. They'd built a financial ecosystem, a shadow economy feeding on the institutions meant to stop them. But money alone doesn't move drugs. You need infrastructure. You need a system. Operation Desert Gate uncovered a masterpiece of criminal logistics. Step 1. The crossing. Cartel trucks rolled toward Nogales, Arizona. Border Patrol Supervisor Miguel Santos stood at the gate. No secondary inspection. No delay. Average crossing time, 4 minutes. Every skipped search was a green light worth tens of thousands of dollars. Step 2. The escort. Once across, the truck merged into a convoy of vehicles registered to the City of Phoenix Procurement Department. On paper, municipal deliveries. In reality, fentanyl moving under city logos. Plates, contracts, fuel cards, all arranged by Procurement Officer Elena Vasquez. Step 3. The storage. The convoy ended at a warehouse owned by a shell company with a pristine city business license, approved and signed by Judge Ethan Calder himself. Step 4. The protection. If a task force asked questions, Assistant DA Rachel Vogue handled the paperwork. Warrants delayed. Evidence suppressed. Cases quietly dismissed. This wasn't a drug ring slipping past government oversight. This was government infrastructure repurposed into a drug pipeline, with a cartel as its client. While the system ran with surgical precision, the human cost exploded. In the 6 months before the raids, Phoenix emergency rooms treated 432 overdose cases. 87 patients never walked back out. The pills didn't look like street drugs. They looked like medicine. Same blue color. Same imprint. Same child-proof bottles. Parents checked the label. Grandparents placed them beside nightly prescriptions. Coaches kept them in lockers. But they weren't painkillers. Each tablet carried enough fentanyl to stop a chest from rising in seconds. They were everywhere: high school parking lots, college dorms, nursing homes where elderly patients believed they were taking what the doctor ordered. Every quiet funeral. Every folded yearbook photo. Every empty bed in a dorm, a nursery, a home. The pipeline Judge Ethan Calder protected didn't just move product. It delivered death to people who never thought they were touching drugs at all. April 2024. 18 months of surveillance, wiretaps, and sleepless nights became indictments printed in black ink on white paper. A federal grand jury charged all 27 defendants with conspiracy to distribute narcotics, RICO violations, obstruction of justice, and money laundering. The legal way of saying something simple: you didn't just look away. You helped build the machine. Judge Ethan Calder faced life in prison without parole. At arraignment, he didn't argue. He didn't look at the gallery. He sat in a rumpled suit that no longer fit, staring at a blank spot on the defense table as his attorney claimed coercion, cartel threats, danger to his family, no choice. Then prosecutors rolled in the exhibits. $5.6 million in cash. 35 kilograms of fentanyl, 10 kilograms of heroin, a leather ledger written in his own hand. When the new judge read the charges aloud, his voice cracked through marble and dark wood. "You were given power to protect," he said. "Instead, you sold that power to those who destroy." Calder never looked up. Outside, the U.S. Attorney General stood before a wall of badges and flags. "We will restore trust. We will rebuild institutions. We will protect communities." The words sounded strong through a microphone. They didn't fill empty chairs at dinner tables. Across the street, behind barricades, a father held a framed photo of his 14-year-old daughter. 6 months earlier, she took one counterfeit pill for a sports injury. She never woke up. He didn't shout. He didn't chant. He just held the photograph tight against his chest until his knuckles turned white. The image said everything no sentence could. Operation Desert Gate seized 2.3 tons of narcotics, fentanyl, heroin, methamphetamine, cocaine. $162 million in cash and assets. 340 firearms, including military-grade rifles. More than 400 individual pieces of evidence tying public officials directly to cartel operations. On paper, it was a success. But numbers don't measure betrayal. The people who swore an oath to uphold the law had become architects of its collapse. Courtrooms built to deliver justice were turned into assembly lines for poison. Badges meant to protect were treated like licenses to kill for hire. The trials will take years. Appeals will follow. New policies will be drafted. New task forces announced. New promises made. But somewhere between a judge's robe and a cartel ledger, a deeper question waits for an answer. How do you rebuild trust in a system that almost killed you? Because in the end, laws are just ink and paper. The real shield has always been the people, the ones who demand better, who refuse to look away, who ask the hard questions together. How much betrayal is too much to forgive? In the months since Operation Desert Gate, the headlines have moved on. The wound hasn't. Mandatory financial audits for federal judges. Enhanced vetting for law enforcement in border regions. Independent oversight panels to review prosecutorial conduct. On paper, it sounds like progress. In reality, it's still just paper. Because the question isn't whether the system failed. Everyone knows it did. The real question is how far the rot spread before anyone noticed. How many judges are still out there wearing robes and speaking the language of justice while selling it quietly behind closed doors? How many courtrooms are compromised before a single witness takes the stand? How many badges are still pinned to uniforms secretly owned by cartel money? How many shipments are moving tonight through legal corridors, escorted by government plates and protected by official signatures? Since March 2024, 19 additional arrests have been made in connected cases. $48 million in cartel assets traced back to U.S. officials. 7 federal investigations into judicial corruption remain open nationwide. The map keeps expanding. The web keeps growing. Every new line is another place trust broke before anyone saw the crack. In Phoenix, Judge Ethan Calder's old courtroom is sealed. His nameplate has been pulled from the wall. His gavel, once a symbol of authority, tagged, bagged, and locked away as evidence. But across the Southwest, courtrooms still open every morning. New cases are called. New oaths are sworn. And somewhere right now, a phone is lighting up with an encrypted message asking a simple question. Can you clear the way? Someone will say yes. Someone will pretend they never heard it. This isn't just a story about one corrupt judge. It's a story about what happens when people entrusted with power choose profit over principle, when justice becomes a transaction. So here's the question that remains. Do we demand accountability? Or accept that some doors stay closed? Phoenix was one city. The most dangerous cartel operative isn't the one who crosses the border.